Good morning. This is KOTG on the go with all you need to know in news and weather as you start your day.
As KOTG enters another day with this winter storm, the South Dakota Department of Transportation says they're having a huge issue with people using secondary highways as a way to avoid interstate closures.
Interstate 29 is closed from Watertown to the North Dakota border. I-90 is closed from Rapid City to Mitchell. But not everybody is heeding the warning, and it's putting lives in danger. DOT crews were out yesterday afternoon into the night rescuing drivers stranded on secondary roads.
These are pictures from some of the operations. KOTG News spoke with Craig Smith, the director of operations with the DOT last night. He says crews were seeing 7-foot drifts during the rescues and has a reminder for people.
Stay put. Understand everyone has places they want to be, but this has been kind of a long, drawn out storm, and we just encourage people to stay where they're at and be safe.
Smith says so far everyone is okay. Stay with KOTG News on air and online for updates as they become available.
Meanwhile, light snow in Sioux Falls may have contributed to a couple of crashes right as people were heading home from work Wednesday evening. This crash happened at the intersection of Arrowhead Parkway and Foss Avenue a little before 6 o'clock, setting off airbags in at least one of the SUVs.
Another crash happened minutes later on East 10th Street when 3 vehicles collided in front of the main entrance to Hy-Vee. Nobody appeared to be hurt in either crash.
3 men are dead and 2 others are hurt after a crash south of Parkston Wednesday morning. The South Dakota Department of Public Safety says it happened just after 7 a.m. A car was southbound on Highway 37 when the driver lost control on the snow and ice.
The car then collided with a northbound pickup. 23, 25, and 26-year-old passengers in the car were pronounced dead at the scene. The 22-year-old driver suffered life-threatening injuries and was taken to the Mitchell Hospital. Charges are pending against him. The 28-year-old driver of the pickup suffered minor injuries.
Now let's send it over to meteorologist Brian Karstens for the latest on this winter storm. Good morning, Brian.
All right, good morning. Well, our winter storm continues to be a topic for most of KOTG. Let's take a look at some snow reports. And as of the morning hours here, and again, we're adding in some of these overnight totals as we speak, but Rapid City still there in that half-a-foot range. Spearfish has been about 2 feet of snow. Deadwood's about 3 feet, and a little additional still coming today. Also, the South Central, I wanted to mention Wanblee to White River to Valentine. Several reports, and some of these 15, 16 totals are still being updated. They're going to go higher as we get new data in. The 25-inch total in southwest Millette County is accurate. We also have a new number out of Chamberlain at 13.5. And today, all that snow is going to be blowing into drifts and piles as it is windy, blizzard warning, Rapid City area, at least we'll call it that, east of Rapid all the way to Pierre. And also, remember, we got winter storm warnings just bordering Minnehaha County today. So in the countryside north and west of Sioux Falls, it is not going to be very fun at all. A lot of wind and blowing snow. And we're going to talk about that here in just a couple of minutes.
Thank you, Brian. As the weather continues to bring snow and ice to the area, the U.S. Postal Service is reminding people to keep their sidewalks clear.
Josh Nichols has been a mail carrier for the past 15 years. He says keeping your sidewalks and driveways cleared allows them to navigate their route safely and deliver your mail on time.
It does make you feel good when people take the time to provide a safe path, not only for us, but you know, it makes it easier for them, too. I mean, who wants to run through snow and ice to get to the mailbox?
The city of Sioux Falls does have an ordinance for clearing snow. You have 48 hours after a snow event has ended. Farmers and ranchers have been working to keep their cattle warm and fed throughout this winter storm. As of yesterday afternoon, the Hayes area had already had around a foot of snow.
That snow is beginning to blow, causing blizzard-like conditions. Luckily, ranchers had plenty of time to prepare and were ready to face what the storm brought.
I think I've just been noticing the last few days how grateful we are for all the modern technology. Just the fact that we knew this storm was coming ahead of time and were able to plan for it, and just the ability to stay connected and see what's going on in the rest of the state.
Scarborough said they started moving cattle closer to home pastures with windbreaks last weekend and made sure all their equipment was working properly ahead of the storm.
And kindness came to the rescue for a college student whose car went in the ditch. Sydney Schmidt decided to drive home to Sioux Falls from Valley City on Monday after her finals went online.
She slid into the ditch near Sisseton after staying overnight at a local hotel. Local couple Neil and Jenny Nelson welcomed her into their home.
The generosity of strangers is just shocking. Like, you always talk about how you see people pull over on the interstate to ask if you're okay, and that happens, but this is just above and beyond that.
Schmidt got some studying done at the Nelsons' home, and they even played some games together.
That's a look at some of our top stories.
Now let's get one last look at your weather with meteorologist Brian Karstens. Brian?
All right, as we look at the weather, of course, watching this storm, and it is still going. We've got wind today. We've got additional snow coming. A lot of the snow today is rotating back in from Minnesota and moving in this direction, kind of in from north to south. And so Sioux Falls is included. But heavier totals when we get into northeast South Dakota. We're still going to run these heavily worded winter storm warnings today. And, you're still going to be digging out from fresh accumulations. You head into central and western South Dakota. New snow, not nearly as much. I think we're kind of getting to the end of that. But it's the recycled snow. It's the drifting snow, the winds that are strong. Rapid City today, 30 to 60 miles per hour. There's a look at futurecast. And even into the evening, Sioux Falls is down in the teens with winds gusting between 40 and 50. And if there's snow in the air, and any amount of snow, it just blows sideways, and it is not a pretty picture. So I do want to make sure we're clear about that this weather forecast is still going to get worse in Sioux Falls before it gets better. And tomorrow morning, still a fair amount of wind. Temperatures are in the teens, and we will not be as warm tomorrow. We'll probably hold middle teens by midday in Sioux Falls and elsewhere, too. It looks like a lot of teens. Here's a look at the wind forecast. Now, you'll see a lot of numbers in the 40-mile-an-hour range. These are wind gusts, but I also want to clarify that the sustained wind this morning has been hovering above 30. That's a big deal. When the minimum wind speed is 30 or higher, it tends to really drive this snow and circulates it. And we've had all sorts of talks about zero visibility and heavy drifting snow in these deeper locations of South Dakota where it's been piling up. So until we can get that to ratchet down, it's just basically sit tight and wait it out. But tonight, too, the numbers on the wind map don't change a lot on the wind gusts. In fact, Aberdeen, I would say 50 is still on the table. Huron's close to that, too. So it's a really strong wind night tonight. And tomorrow morning, while it might be a hair better, it's still pretty strong, 20 to 40 Sioux Falls all day tomorrow. And I would say the end of the day, then the winds start to improve a little bit. Hopefully on Saturday, we make some better progress in that direction. New snow totals. So here's what we're adding into the forecast. And I just updated this too here for this segment of KETHLAND on the go. So you can see in Sioux Falls, the number by tonight is 1 to 2, but we can get a little bit more, and then we're kind of in that 2 to 4 when we settle this thing down tomorrow. But see how Marshall is a lot more? And you could run numbers 4, 5, 6 inches pretty easily. Madison, Brookings, and Huron, and Watertown, too. Half a foot of snow is still a possibility. So it's still just continuing, and the wind and everything else. One final note, all the cold next week. As soon as we get this storm off our plate, then we're going to talk a whole lot more about this. This is going to come down in pieces early next week. It's pretty cold. The worst will probably come in after the Alberta Clippers zips through here middle of next week. If projections continue the way they are looking now, there are going to be areas of the Midwest and the plains that will get wind and snow, not necessarily a lot of snow, but we've got a lot on the ground, and we can't afford to have blowing snow again. That's going to probably foul up some traffic and travel issues sometime before Christmas. We'll see where that lands, if that's a Thursday deal or a Wednesday of next week. Those kind of things we'll be talking about. All right, well, with that said, let's get into the forecast, shall we? We'll skip past this graphic, and really the end of this program, I want to bring up our 7 days. And here we go. We'll start with Sioux Falls. These temperatures, probably single digits above zero starting early next week, and we're a little below zero in overnight lows. And then the worst of the cold will come in after day 7. So we're not there yet. We're just starting to get colder. Aberdeen could be below zero. You got more snow on the ground. North Dakota is going to be a big reservoir of cold. That whole state is plastered with snow too. And then you look at Pierre, obviously the snow amounts are going to really hamper our warming here starting next week. So just got to be prepared for it. It's one of those old-fashioned cold snaps, too. We just got through a big storm, and then we'll have, of course, cold in the Black Hills, too. Check out the details with all of this weather online at KELOLAND.com.